Oh yeah, we're about to do it.
Yeah, there you are.
We're about to get it done.
Oh, it's happening.
We're this close to getting it done, Will. What's up, man? Where did all those pretend books you got behind you? Like you read stuff?
Every one of them is actually fake.
Okay.
So then when you open up inside, I've got like knives, guns.
Oh, that's what I was hoping. I hope I was sitting there when you had just shelves of guns and knives behind you.
They don't intimidate anyone.
Yeah. Nobody expects the reader, as they say. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. It's great to actually see you. Obviously, having been Facebook friends for many years, we know each other like the back of each other's hands.
Yeah, I rarely look down or wash my hands. So yeah. I was honest
for when we first booked the thing, I was like, I did not remember that we were actually Facebook friends.
I just saw it today. I was like, wait a minute.
I think we literally have been Facebook friends for many years. And
I wonder why. What?
I think it was before I even started writing for the AV Club, which I've been doing since 2011. I befriended a bunch of voice actors because I was doing a column for a different site where I was interviewing voice actors. That's how I got Rob Paulson and Gray Delisle and people like that. So I'm sure that was when it took place, and I was going to invite you to do that column, and then that column fell apart, so it never happened. So,
man, you got to go back and dig that. You got to go rejuvenate that column. I mean, it was your life's work. And now, yeah.
Where were you in 2011?
I don't know. Just walking around the streets of Burbank or something. Who knows? Who knows what I was up to then?
Oh, the LA life.
Oh, yeah. Living it. Where are you?
I am actually in Chesapeake, Virginia, right next door to Norfolk and Virginia Beach.
Norfolk?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Norfolk.
I know Norfolk. I've been there a couple of times.
Native, it's actually Norfolk.
Right. I know that they all don't, what was it? Don't drink or smoke something like that.
Don't smoke Norfolk.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Navy
I'm
class.
from the Southeast, so I get you. I hear you. I understand you.
Actually, so I'd forgotten that you were in Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Go figure that I forgot that. But I went back and watched it this morning, and I only had to watch like 2 minutes. It was great.
Yeah, that's all. You have to watch only a couple of minutes. You have to listen to more because my voice is in there as he's doing the bus tour.
Well, that's true. Yes, correct.
Yeah. That I could have killed a lot of people that day, and I did not, because they hired me for the job and then said, "Can you drive a bus?" And I was like, "I'm sure I can." And then I get down to Savannah, and it was an English double-decker bus.
Yeah.
So steering wheel's on the wrong side.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really drive stick shift anyway, but the stick shift and clutch are on the other side. And then they pack it full of innocent people who have no idea that I don't know what the hell I'm doing, driving around Savannah that has all those low-hanging big oak trees all over the place.
No pressure at all.
No, not for me. Like for their insurance company and the actuary and their families, that shows a lot of pressure.
Yes.
I would have, the film was going to cover me. Gary Anthony Williams killed 515 white people today. And then the movie's like, hey,
Well, what a headline.
Wasn't his fault.
Well, I'll ask you the same question I ask everybody, the obligatory secret origin question. How did you find your way into acting in the first place? What led you down that path?
There is a story on the internet that I took a computer. I took a class in high school. I was trying to sign up for like a backstage, just like learn how to run lights and stuff, just to get out of really taking another real class. And the computer put me in an acting class. That's the story on the internet.
Okay.
And that story is absolutely true. Like it was a total computer error that put me in the acting class. And I got in there. There was a teacher named Robin Bennett. And I got in, and the first day she was like, we're going to do mime. So I was like, well, this is dumb. So I did this mime of me cuddling this beautiful newborn baby and then putting it in the oven, then slicing it up and eating it. And she didn't get pissed, which I thought was going to happen. I was like, oh, this is fun then. I just get to screw around in here. And that was it, man. After day one in acting in that class, it was like, oh, this is fun. This isn't real work.
That's the best.
Yeah. That was it. So some of my earliest work was like Shakespeare, like doing Shakespeare there at that school. I think it was Merchant of Venice, and like doing like Bertolt Brecht and a bunch of, she was like a serious high school director. So I was doing that kind of stuff before I ever did any comedy.
I was going to say, I know that pretty much all of your earliest stuff on TV anyway was dramatic work.
Yeah, well, especially in Atlanta, because like there was only a couple of TV shows like they had Heat of the Night.
Yeah.
And it was one of those cases where there were very few actors down there at the time. So it was like, you could be on Heat in the Night 10 times playing a different character. Like nobody cared. Like, oh, he broke into a car last week. This week, he's an attorney. Next week, he's, like it really did not matter to them, So I changed the voice a little, grow a little hair out, or shave some off, or, grow a mustache and be a different character on there. So yeah, the earlier stuff was all like bad guy roles, like this one show I was in, it was called Chasing the Dragon with Marky Post, and she came to buy drugs from me. And I beat her car up with a baseball bat, and I was going to rape not only her and her son, but I changed my mind at the last time. At the last minute, I changed my mind. So it was all crazy, bad drug dealer, beat people up, rob people, threaten people with a knife, that kind of stuff.
I like the fact that you were on 2 episodes of Beyond Belief.
Oh, yes. Beyond Belief. That was early in that was in LA when I first I moved to LA in 98. But I was still playing those roles. In that one, man, I wanted this kid's basketball. It's my friend Leonard. We became friends that day. I wanted his basketball, man. So I had a knife, and I was like, why don't you give me that basketball? I'm gonna catch it with my knife. It was like the most weird. Like, what? Yeah, I was wearing like all black and leather and buckles. And then it was me and this basketball player who called himself 7-footer. That was his name. He was my crime partner in that. Did a lot of crimes back then, a lot of crimes.
So this is my stock question I've been asking people lately. Do you remember the first time that you were on a set that you had to fight the instinct to be a fanboy?
Wow, fanboy. I've never, let me think of who, not on a set, but so when I started doing voiceover in California, I got with, first of all, I came out here, my buddy Nick Jameson, who's one of the greatest voiceover people in the world. He was also a producer and played bass for Foghat. He produced their biggest albums, but he does every accent in the world. So he took my voiceover demo over to his agents, and they were like, nah, it doesn't work here. And so one day I'm on stage doing improv, and this lady sees me and she goes, hey, do you have a voiceover demo? I was like, yeah, but it won't work in LA. I just moved here. She goes, let me just take it to my people. She took it to her people, and that was ICM. And they called me in the next week. They were like, yeah, we'd like to represent you. I was like, oh, well, I got to get a new voiceover demo. They were like, no, this is perfect. So like one person had just told me, this won't even work here. And they were like, no, it's perfect. You don't have to change anything. So I started doing voiceover, and I would meet all these people. Like one guy I met, and we became friends. And then one day somebody said, hey, I got something for you to sign. And I turned to somebody else to go, who is that? And they were like, Mark, it's Mark. Like, Mark, who? Like, Gary, that's Mark Hamill. Like I'm friends with, like, we were friends for a year, and I just knew him as Mark because I'd see him almost every day at the voiceover place. Him, Maurice LaMarche, who was the brain, and I was a Pinky and the Brain fool. Never knew. Then he and I were at some place, and he loaned me. I didn't have any cash with me. He's like, I'll pay the valet and just hit me back when we get to our agency, because we were there every day. And then the next day I hit him back, and I was like, oh, by the way, why were you at that event? And he goes, from Pinky and the Brain. I was like, what? Wait, who are you? He's like, I'm the Brain. Like, so it was like always around these people that I had admired. Dana Snyder, who was Master Shake. Like, those are the people that I fanboyed out on more than anything. Like, I was already their buddy and didn't realize, oh oh my God, you're that guy that I've listened to time and time again that made me laugh. So those are the people, like the surprise people that I don't have any shame. Like if like I'm somebody's fan, they're gonna know it. Like that's just it. I'm not gonna pretend you're not the greatest thing in the world. I'm gonna let you know you are.
Which they generally appreciate for the most part.
Yeah, especially because I also always slip a little money in their pocket. I always give them a little money, like shh, put my hands on their lips, tell them to be quiet, and buy them something pretty.
Nice.
It leads to lawsuits, but I don't care.
I mean,
well, I care.
In the long run, isn't it worth it?
I don't know. A lot of legal issues. I don't know if it is or not.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
So how was the experience of doing Boston Legal? Because that cast was spectacular from start to start.
Will, may I tell you the story of Boston Legal? Here's another case where there are many things that have been in my life that I just try to get out of. So I had been in LA for a while and just kind of tired. And I was like, well, I'm going to go home for a couple of weeks. And my agent calls and like, hey, there's this TV show, Boston Legal, and they want you to come and do an episode. And I was like, no, I'm just going to go home. I'm kind of tired, guys. I just need to go recharge. And so they were like, it's a really good show. Why don't you think about it over the weekend? I was like, I'll give you the weekend, but I'm not doing it. I'm going home. So my buddy, Scott Ward, comes over to my house and I tell him, and he's like, Gary, that's a great show. I was like, what's it like? He's like, oh, William Shatner's in it and James Spader. It's a really good show. So we get on the internet, but those were the early days of the internet. So I couldn't find anything to watch of it. Like it wasn't on the internet. Now you could just put in. And so he was like, I promise you it's worth your time. So I go there and it's written for a drag queen. So I go the first day of shooting, like literally the first day. I go and they were like, so yeah, you're just going to be a guy. Like, I don't even know where this guy saw me, the creator. I don't know anything. He's like, yeah, it's just you're just this guy who's, just come in, you're wearing a dress and we'll put a bad wig on you. So as I'm going through makeup that morning, they come in and look at, no, we're going to get you a better dress. We're going to, make you look a little sexier. Oh, okay. No, we're really putting a wig on. We're going to get a nice wig now. And then and makeup. You're going to do makeup, but like, you're going to look good. So like, first of all, I've never been on this set before. It's the day of shooting. And they are deciding right then, oh no, you've just gone from a guy walking in a dress to a guy who really is acting like a woman walking in a dress. So we shoot that first day. James Spader and I hit it off immediately on day one, immediately. And I'm only supposed to be on there for one episode. This guy in the makeup department, hair department, Stevie Mack, he says to me, you're going to be a series regular on this show. And I was like, dude, I'm here for one episode and I'm a drag queen trying to convince everybody that I need maternity leave. And he goes, I've seen how things work here. You're going to be on the show. I was like, okay, whatever, dude. So I do it that week and it airs on a Friday. And the next Tuesday they call and said, hey, they want you to be a regular on the show. And I was like, doing what? And they were like, the show creator doesn't know yet what you're going to be doing, but he's putting you on the show. I was like, oh, okay. And then my agent goes, here's how it's going to work, Gary. I've had other clients on this show. You're going to be there a couple of years and then you're going to be gone. They're not going to kill you off. You just won't be there anymore. It's like, oh, okay. So I had that understanding going in. It was the best time in my life. Like one of the best times. I continue to have best times in my life. Became good buddies with James Spader. He would just come by my house unannounced, knock on the door. May I come in? May we sit by your pool, Gary? Or when I first moved into that house, he was like, I drove by your new home. Because I told him where I was moving. I was like, no, you didn't. I wasn't home this weekend. He's like, no, you weren't, but I walked around. And then he described my house for me, 360 degrees. He had walked around the entire house looking in the windows. Spader was a freak and a great human being. And Shatner was fantastic. Like I never saw him like off. I never saw him like fumbling for anything. He was always just supportive and great. Like I had heard all kinds of rumors about William Shatner, and it's like none of those rumors that I had heard were the William Shatner that I worked with for those years. Ever. Dude was always cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was the process of making the shift to doing predominantly voice work versus on camera?
First of all, I don't use the word process. I say process because
sorry.
I've been in Canada recently.
That's fair.
Now I'm going back to process. You know what? It was a couple of weeks ago when I was in Canada. There was never a process. When I was acting in Atlanta, I was doing a lot of Shakespeare and stage work, and I was in an improv group called Laughing Matters. My buddy Tommy Futch heard me do this improv rap on stage one night, and the next day he called me and said, "Hey, I wrote this commercial for WGN in Chicago. It's a rapper. You want to come in and record it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I went in, and the owner of the studio heard me, and he goes, "Here's my deal, Gary. I will make you the best voiceover demo you will have in your entire life if you do some." And I was like, "I don't have any money." He's like, No. You do some free jobs for me, I will make you the best demo you've ever had." And that's what he did. I would go in there every week. We lay down voices. He'd edit. I'd do a couple of commercials and stuff, for free. And that was it. So I was doing voiceover from the beginning of acting. And even now, like, it just depends on the season. Yeah. I was in a show on Netflix called The Crew. Yeah. I was doing voiceover while I was doing that show. I do Whose Line Is It Anyway, the TV show. Right now, they're supposed to be coming back in January doing new episodes of that. So I'm still able to do them both. The big difference now is since COVID, I don't know if I can turn this computer around a little bit. I have a big metal booth in my house where I do all of my voiceover stuff. So I don't really leave the house to do that anymore. I'm able to do it all from here. So it was never like a transition. I've been doing them both since I started acting.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You mentioned The Crew. You actually got to work with a guy who's become kind of a buddy of mine, Bruce McGill.
Yeah. That dude is great. He played the original boss of the place who left the show. Yeah, he's very cool dude. Yeah. How do you guys know each other?
Through interviews. I interviewed him for the AV Club. I did a random roles with him, and then we met in person at a party he did for TNT when he was doing Rizzoli and Isles.
Oh, wow.
I've done like 4 or 5 interviews with him now, and the only thing he won't do is Zoom. He says, "I don't do Zoom unless I'm getting paid for it."
Okay. All right, Bruce. But I will do Skype. Just something about that damn.
Man's got to have his standards. I guess.
Yeah, he does. That was fun, man. We only did 10 episodes of that show. We did it. We got shut down during COVID, and we were the very first Netflix TV show to come back. We got shut down in March, and then late August, they quarantined us for 14 days. The kind of quarantine where you don't leave your hotel room. Yeah. Literally, you never step outside the door. And oh, by the way, you're in a very nice hotel, but your windows don't open. So we were inside for 14 solid days. Never stepped foot outside because they didn't know what was happening in August, September of 2020.
Sure, yeah.
And I started losing time. Like I would talk to my girlfriend, and I remember like near the end, I was like, "Oh, I only got 1 more week to go." And she was like, "You have 2 days left, Gary. You only have 2 days." I was like, "No, I got like 7 or 8 days." Like I was totally losing time. Like I had no concept of it was the closest I've ever gone to like going crazy. Like it really was like that was. But friends were sending me puzzles, and another buddy of mine, Souther Teague, he owns like 5 bars in New York. So he was sending me all these drink kits. So I got real good at puzzling and drinking. And I
like a lot of people did during the pandemic.
Yeah, but that keeps you from getting COVID. I don't know if you know this. It's that ivermectin, like none of that stuff. No. Sure, I'm vaccinated. I'm double boosted. But let me tell you what, a good puzzle and some bourbons, that really keeps out. Because here's how it works. Viruses look for places to land on our cells.
Yeah.
Puzzles are very confusing. There are so many sides to land. So instead of landing on you, they're busy trying to land on these puzzle pieces. And that keeps the virus out of you.
I mean, that checks out medically.
You can read it in my book. Hi, I'm Gary Anthony Williams. I'm a doctor. You can read it in that book. And by the way, the cover of the book is the book. Like, that's it. There's no other information inside. Just, hi, I'm Gary Anthony Williams. I'm a doctor.
So this would be perfect for my shelf.
That would be great for your shelf. Great for your shelf. It is expensive, but it is worth every penny.
I have no doubt.
Thank you. Thank you, Will Harris.
Speaking of Hamill, you don't have, not a big part in it, but you're in Comic Book the Movie.
Yeah.
Also in. That's a fun film.
So that was right after he goes, oh, like I go to him and go, dude, I'm sorry. Like I said, we've been friends for a while. It's like, I never put together that you're Mark Hamill. And it's like, yeah. And then he's like, hey, I wrote this movie. You want to be in it? I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll go be in the movie with you. Yeah, man, that dude's great. Like, I remember even when I first met him, after we became friends, he's like, if you ever need me to sign anything, just bring it by the office and I'll sign it for you. Like, he was always just that generous kind of dude. I ran a film festival. He came down to be on the celebrity panel at my film festival.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I feel very fortunate. Of course, there are assholes in this industry. Let's not be stupid. I have met far, far, far more genuinely kind, good-hearted, helpful people than I have met assholes.
That's great.
Far more.
I will say the same as well. People always want to know who's the biggest jerk you ever talked to. I'm like,
myself. Oh,
pretty much. There's one, and
who is it, by the way?
I mean, I will tell you because even though he was a jerk, I know that it was just he was having a bad day, so I don't hold a grudge. But it was Ving Rhames.
You sound like a real racist right now, Will Harris. Out of all these asshole white people out there, you had to go pick on an American.
You are not the first person to say that.
Like Ving Rhames, but I'm the first person to mean it.
That I believe.
The other person, people are just being flippant with you. I really mean it.
I will tell you the story though.
Okay.
It still makes me laugh now because of the fact that I still love his work. But he was promoting Death Race 2000, like the sequel to the remake. And the publicist for the film said, okay, well, we don't have screeners yet, but we're doing press anyway. Do you think you could still do this interview even though you haven't seen the film? I was like, yeah, I saw the original, I saw the remake, so yeah, I can do this. And so I get on the phone with him, and it's going great for like the first 10 minutes. And then I said, well, of course I haven't yet seen the film, but and he goes, what do you mean you haven't seen the film? Like, well, I mean, Stanislavski said, if you do not respect my work, I will not work with you.
Wait, what's that got to do with respecting your work? Did Stanislavski mention the film first?
No one's ever thrown Stanislavski at me except for Ving Rhames. So I feel like there's a compliment there anyway. But I said, so are you saying the interview's over? Because I couldn't help it. They didn't have any screeners. He's like, well, you know what this means? This means that you have to spend your money and go see the movie in the theater when it comes out. Now, because I am not an asshole, I did not point out that it was a straight-to-video sequel. I just said, all right, I'll do that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he had just been having a bad day, and he probably didn't really understand what I was telling him in the first place about the fact that there were none available. But by that point, he'd already doubled down on it, and I was like, we'll just do this. That's fine.
Yeah, anybody can have a bad day. It's the people that you work with more than once that you go, oh, there's a pattern of assholiness here.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've never had anybody else who ever struck me like that. I've had tired, I've had distracted for reasons that I understood, but no one's ever been so terrible to me that I believe that it was a permanent condition.
I've worked with a couple of people that I've worked with one in particular that I would just consider not just an asshole, but the whole ass, all of it. Just not just not just a piece of it. I mean, the whole is greater than the sum of that whole.
For sure.
So I've worked with a couple, but one in particular that I would go, I can't imagine him having a great day and being nice to people. That's not what he does. That would be like a character he would have to play. Okay, in this movie, you're going to be nice to someone. I don't know if I can do it. That's what I think. Yeah, but mostly people are nice. Like, I'm big on trying to give other people help if they need it, because so many have helped me.
Yeah.
Like, get started, teaching me something I didn't know, So I am a big believer in giving somebody else help if they're looking for it, for sure. When I was on Malcolm in the Middle, and there was a huge scene we were filming one day, and I mean huge. It was a scene where me and what's his name? Oh, dang it, Higgins.
John
Dave Higgins.
Oh, David Higgins, yeah.
Yeah. We had this slap fight, and the next day our arms were sore, like, because it was literally just hours of slap fighting each other, from different angles. And the next day we come in like sore arms. But in that scene, it was like hundreds of background actors, and they would walk up to Bryan Cranston before he was totally Bryan Cranston.
Sure, yeah.
And they were like, "So how did you get started? And do you have any recommendations for me?" And he would literally sit down and talk to people. Yeah. And at the end of that day, I went up to him and I was like, I have never seen anyone take that kind of time with people ever. Yeah. And he said, I made myself a promise, if I was ever one of the leads on the show, that I wouldn't be an asshole. And like, that stuck with me more than anything in this whole business. Like, dude promised himself to never go full dick, and he never did. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
then he turned around and punched it. He punched a pregnant baby. Oh, so yeah, that's Bryan here, ladies and gentlemen. Bryan Cranston punched a pregnant baby. Yeah, put it on the internet. I mean,
at least I'm going to get a break out of this. I mean, this is definitely going to take me.
Yeah, put it. Let America and other countries other than France, let them all know. F France.
I just took a turn.
I don't care. France can't come get me. Hey, France, I'm going to give you my address. 502. If you want me, you know where I am. They don't even understand.
Come on up to 502. They'll be able to find you.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't speak American.
Yikes. So I also do a feature on this Substack called Pilot Error, where I talk about pilots that didn't make it to series. Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious about the experience of doing Friday Night Dinner, just because...
Hold on. Are there pilots that don't make it to series? I've never been in anything that didn't go 12, 13, 15, 29 years. But some of the shows rare. Don't make it to series? Okay.
Very rare.
Okay.
Only a couple of thousand a year.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, this is weird. This is a part of the... You've taught me something today, Will Harris.
You're welcome.
And I literally got on this Zoom because I'm not one of those guys who refuses to do Zoom. Okay. I literally got on this Zoom saying, that fucker Will Harris will not teach me anything today. I will not learn from him today. And here I am, like a pregnant baby just before the punch, just sucking in the world like a big sponge.
Again, you're welcome.
And thank you is what I should have said.
So Friday Night Dinner, that's one of those that I cannot even conceive of how it didn't go to series.
No. Okay. So for those people out there who don't know, and I think there's one guy in Portland, Maine, who doesn't know this. Sure. I think it was originally an Israeli show that they were Americanizing.
Yeah, I believe so.
I was in it. At that time, I was African American. Sure. Allison Janney was in it. At that time, she was Caucasian. American at that time.
Sure.
Who else was in there? Are you looking at the thing?
I am Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub. At that time, he was whatever Shalhoub is. Does anybody know what he is? Has anybody split him open and counted his race rings?
Not getting involved.
Okay.
He's not even gonna. He is an actor, is what he is.
Yeah, but no, I need to know. Look, I only see color and race. That's all I see. I need to know what he was. So yeah, it was those two were married.
Keckner's in it too.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. And Keckner and I are buddies now. He just invited me to do that big slick in Kansas this week. Holy crap.
And so, I cash also. So I mean, it was
impressive.
Yeah.
And it was fun. So the first day we meet, the director goes, all right, everybody, I think he gives us all $100 to go shopping at the mall together as a group. Like that was the whole deal. He really wanted everybody to like bond as a group.
Yeah.
It was great. It all takes place at it's a Jewish family, and it all takes place at their Friday night dinners. Like every episode is about the next week's Friday night dinner. And I play the next door neighbor who is horribly in love with Allison Janney. Like I would just sit there looking in their windows as they're eating dinner, you know. It was so good, so fun. And to watch her work and Shalhoub work was just great. And yeah, for the life of me, I can't figure out why that didn't go. Then I was in another pilot called Aces with one of those Baldwin boys. He's the Baldwin boy who, if you ever want to know a dirty Hollywood story of who's doing who and who he's done, and who likes to watch his wife getting done, he will tell you every story about every celebrity you never, ever could have imagined.
Awesome.
And he will back it up. No, if you don't believe me, talk to Blank, because he was there. Like he will back him up, and he does not care. He is Mr. Dirt Disher. So that was a pilot. It was called Aces, and it was a pilot about it was the same director actually who did Friday Night Dinner.
Oh, Ken Kwapis then.
Yeah, it was Kwapis.
Yeah.
He would tell you everything, but in that one it was about poker. It was this guy. It was taken from a real story of a guy who went to college, became very successful, but he got to college because his dad was a professional gambler, and he paid his son's way through college with this big poker tournament that he had won. So that was what it was all about. This regular guy whose dad was a professional gambler, and the ups and downs of that. It was great. That was before Texas Hold'em poker was big, so they brought in a champion from Vegas to teach us all how to play. And so we sat around the first day smoking cigars and playing poker all day, because they were really just filming us playing poker too. And the second day we sat around playing poker all day, and me trying to not get sick smoking cigars, because I was not a cigar smoker. And the second day I did not want to see another cigar. It was too much. I don't understand cigar smoking. I don't get it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know who they're trying to trick. I think it's like, you know how black people invented the peanut, George Washington Carver, but he invented it because he knew that white people would go into anaphylactic shock. So he invented it as like reparations to get back at white people. I don't know if you know this. I know all science. Are you
telling me that? I feel like
I know all the science. Yeah, I am. Because now it's Juneteenth, and now we can finally reveal all our secrets, all our black secrets to the world.
I picked a hell of a day to do this.
Yeah. Welcome to June.
You saw my post then, did you?
Welcome to Juneteenth. First of all, let's just be honest here. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day for the white man. That is the day that the white man saw in his heart to set all them colored people free. Now, it is not a good day for color folks, because that's the last time they had any opportunity to work. During slavery, black folks had 100% employment. 100% employment. Now what they doing? Oh, they ain't doing a damn thing. Oh, sure, they driving Uber, but they don't even know what the hell they doing driving Uber. Then they complain about the price of gas. Anyway, happy June 16th or 15th, just the 10th. Happy Juneteenth, white folks, but not to you, black folks. Not to you. And Uncle Ruckus, ladies and gentlemen. No, you're like literally just a minute ago, my girlfriend's like, what's happening? She saw your post. I was like, well, I better break out Uncle Ruckus and put him in the background in case I want to use him.
God bless you. Thank you.
I got this Uncle Ruckus as a threat, by the way.
Really?
When the Boondocks first started airing, they had a huge party, like the premiere party. Yeah. And there was a huge Uncle Ruckus. And the party was over and I started like breaking him down to take him home. And I was like, I'm taking this. And they were like, no, you can't take that. I was like, I'm going to take it. Because my thought was, this cartoon might be successful. It might not, whatever. I'm never going to have a chance to have this guy I've been recording. I'm going to take it. Like you can kick me out of the industry. It doesn't matter. And she's like, no, I promise. If you don't take that one, I'll send you one. It'll be smaller, but I'll send you one. I promise. And so that's why my threat to steal the big one led to me having this guy in my house for the last how many ever years that is.
I was a huge fan of the comic strip when that first premiered, and I got several of the books around here. So I was thoroughly amazed with how well it translated into an animated series.
I have all of the books, did before the series. In fact, when my agent called and said, hey, Gary, there's this comic strip called The Boondocks. I was like, yeah. It's like they're making a cartoon about it. And I was like, are you kidding? I want to audition for every single male role on that show. And so I was like, okay. So I auditioned for Huey, Riley, Tom, Granddad, and then the new character was Uncle Ruckus. He wasn't in the strip yet. Uncle Ruckus didn't get put in the comic strip until after the cartoon started on TV. So I auditioned for all of them, and Aaron was at the back of the room to create Aaron Magruder. He was like just kind of nodding, listening. And then it came to the Uncle Ruckus, and then I just started envisioning all these horrible dudes that used to hang around my dad. Like they were black guys, but for some reason they tended to just hate everybody. Like black, they just hated us, and they were always telling us of all the good that the white man did. Like there's one guy named Candy Walker. So it's kind of his attitude. Mr. Candy Walker would always come around. I never knew what he was doing there. Just telling us, if you shake hands with a white man, you shall become friends. And like, he's a black dude. Like, what? Why is he telling us what's happening? It would be him and then some of my dad's other friends who just came around they couldn't figure out why my dad wasn't a drinker anymore. Like he just stopped drinking cold turkey, but they were always trying to get him to drink with him and he would never drink. But they were, oh, come on, Willie, have a drink. Willie, have nothing. Yeah, just have a little drink with me, Willie. Like, so I just took all those crazy off dudes that I used to wonder why the heck my dad hung out with them and balled them up into Ruckus. And then Aaron, the creator, he loves improv. If you're improving off of his stuff. So he just let us go crazy creating stuff. All the music I did on there, he let me either write it myself or just make it up. Oh, wow. In the booth, and then they would orchestrate after it. Yeah. So yeah, man, that was still my absolute favorite character to play.
That's awesome.
If I had an opportunity just to play him the rest of my life, and they're like, you can't play any other character for the rest of your life, you have to choose one, I would choose Ruckus in a heartbeat. He is so unlike me. He is just full of hatred, but I love the fact that one time we were doing a movie, Aaron was trying to get a live action Boondocks movie made. And so this costumer made me an Uncle Ruckus costume, and then the makeup, they put this big fake eye in me and bald, shaved. I used to have hair then, shaved my hair and did the whole thing, and had me crash the NAACP Image Awards, which NAACP was immediately pissed until somebody that was a fan, and they gave me a ticket, and they're like, well, now you got a ticket, you can go in. So I went in and did the red carpets. And at first people were mad until I start calling them the N-word and all that stuff. And then the rappers were like, oh shit, do me next. People were like literally lined up for Uncle Ruckus to insult them. Like literally lined up to get insulted by this guy. Like a whole, I don't even know the reality of, I don't know what it is about, like people love to hate him. He has the most unsage-like advice in the world, but he's so freaking fun to play, man. So fun.
Oh, you mentioned music. That just reminded me of, you're only in one episode of it, but it's one of my favorite series in recent memory, Sherman Showcase.
Oh yeah, I might be in, oh yeah, I am in just in one episode, but I do a couple of different things in that episode. Yeah, man. In fact, I was just looking them up last night, the creators of that, because I have a show that I kind of want to get in touch with them about. But yeah, that was a trip. Yeah, oh. I played the dad in there. I did it. Yeah, an old school radio kind of announcer who got in trouble. Yeah, but some good people like connected to that. Like the way I met those guys, I was walking out of, I was at this place called Hugo's. It was me, and I was at my heaviest, which was probably usually around like 380, something like 380 pounds, something like that. And I was with this girl who used to be on Boston Legal. She's a little person. And so it's me and her, and we're at Hugo, and people could not take their eyes off of trying to figure out what's that about? Like, what is that big dude and that little sexy lady about? And so we were leaving there, and these two dudes come up to me and go, hey, Gary, right? Yeah. Hey, really nice to meet you, man. You know, someday we're going to work with you. I was like, okay. And then a couple of months later, there's this pilot for this show that shot in Atlanta, and I go in and I audition. They were like, okay, yeah, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be playing the mayor. Like, they just tell me in the room, and they were like, you don't remember meeting us, do you? It's like, no. They're like, you remember Hugo's that time? We met you outside of Hugo's. Like, oh, wow. So they were like true to their words, man. You go from Hugo, let me to America again, please. And not France. Hi, America, and not France. If you ever want an acting job, go to Hugo's, take an actress with you, eat, and leave. You're welcome. There it is.
Lessons.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach these people whether they want to be taught or not.
God bless you. So on the superhero voiceover landscape, do you have a particular favorite role that you voiced?
Wow.
So if it's not a particular role.
So many now, man. Like I did that Batman, was it Dark Knight Returns? Is that what I did?
Absolutely.
Okay, here's a little something about my stupidity. So I was on, I was doing the cartoon Batman that was on TV, and I played a bunch of different roles in it. My biggest roles were like this character Mungle, and Mungal. I played the brother and sister, really bad guys. And so then like, oh, there's some more Batman stuff. So I go in and I start recording this, what I thought was a TV episode. And then I kept going back and recording more and more of it. And in my mind, I'm going, is the writing that bad? They keep rewriting this? Why have I been doing this for a couple of months now, this episode? But I thought it was an episode. Then I get a call from Andrea Romano and goes, oh, hey, by the way, Gary, the movie's coming out this week. I was like, what movie? And she goes, the Batman movie we recorded. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Still not letting her know. The whole time I thought I've been doing this TV cartoon. I had no idea I was doing like a bigger thing. So in that I played the what do they call him? It was a leader, like he's the leader of the bad guys, Spiked Hair.
Mutant leader, I guess.
The mutant leader, yeah.
Anchor Bill, I think is his.
No, mutant leader in that first.
Oh, that
yeah.
one.
Yeah, and it was great because I beat Batman up, dude. I whooped his ass. So I love playing that bad guy, but then like in Clone Wars, I've gotten to play a lot of in the Star Wars realm. I got to play a lot of bad guys on that. Riff Tamson, who was this part shark, part humanoid kind of guy who they killed in a horrible, horrible way. I've gotten to play a lot of bad guys in superhero world. And now I'm doing a lot of I'm doing some nice guys now. Like I have a job in this booth a little bit later today where it's in the Marvel universe, but it's a kids thing called Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very psyched.
Yeah. So I'm doing that right now, which is just fantastic. And then another one, I don't know if I can mention the other one, actually. I was about to tell you what that was, but I think I gotta wait on that one.
Okay.
Where I play a really cool little character. Voiceover has been really, that's the one thing that was not really shut down by COVID. Once they figured out how to make it work, then the work has been more than pre-COVID, actually.
Is there a favorite underrated animated series that you've worked on that didn't get the love you thought it deserved?
There's a lot of them, man.
I'm sure there are.
I just did one called Harper House.
Yeah.
And it only went with Neely. It only went for the episodes that we did, and it's like really good stuff. I did one a while ago called The Good Family, and again, it was like great stuff.
I've actually got that on DVD. Like,
yeah,
Shopper put that out, so I have copies.
So yeah, so there are a lot of them out there that you go, well, that's too bad that didn't get more than it should have. Yeah. But you know, I just keep moving. Like the one thing I can never do is go, wait, why isn't that happening, or why did they cancel that, or why? Like it doesn't matter in the long run, you know. But yeah, those for sure. And there was one I did long ago called Stroker and Hoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun. And then one that nobody knows about. There was a movie called Undercover Brother, but before it was a live action movie, it was an internet cartoon.
Oh wow.
And Undercover Brother, I played Undercover Brother, the Chief, Conspiracy Brother, and the Man. I know I played those 4 different characters in that one. It was mostly me and this other voice actor named James Mathis the third. We played all the characters in there, really, except for the female characters. I think it was played by Marcy T. House. But yeah, before it got sold as a show, a movie, then that internet cartoon was the thing, and it was fun. It was all flash animation. It was pretty simple by a guy named Brian Carson, who's a really good animator. He did the animation, but it was fun, and it led to the movie.
Oh, speaking of movies, there's one way back that I was just curious if you had any recollections from doing that. Radioland Murders.
Yeah, I recollect it. I was living in Atlanta, and it was either my first or second movie I was ever in, and so the joke of my character in the movie was, if all takes place at a radio station, and with guys behind mics recording old radio shows, and you hear this very upper class English guy and his Black African servant, and they're having this discussion, and then they whip pan, and me, the Black guy, is the very upper crust English guy, and the African is the white guy. Shoot the movie, go home. About a month and a half later, hey Gary, you got to go back and do Radioland Murders. Oh, it was Brian Ben who was the lead of that. Right. I was like, why? They were like, they lost the reels. They literally lost everything you guys shot. So we had to go back, had to get different clothes, because those clothes have been returned to the costume warehouses. Had to go back and just redo the entire shoot. Yeah, I was living in Georgia then, and I think we shot in North Carolina, somewhere north or South Carolina.
The reason I remember the movie in particular is that George Burns was in it.
Yeah.
I think it was his last film.
It was one of those movies where they just threw in every star in cameos and stuff. Like they threw stars all over the place in that movie. And at that time, Brian Benben was in it was a sexy show that he was doing. I can't remember the name of it.
Mind of the Married Man? No, Dream On.
Dream On, yeah. So he was really big at that time. Yeah. And then it was me and Corbin Burnson, I think, were paired up in that film. Then they lost the reel. I'd never been in a case like that. No, it's gone. Everything you guys did is gone. We got to go back and redo it. I can't imagine how many people got fired over that. But I got another check, and that's when I bought a hat.
How have you enjoyed the experience of narrating Unsung?
Love it. I love it, man. Unsung, for those who don't know, Unsung is this music show. I've narrated it now for, I don't know, 11 years. I don't know. How long has it been on?
2009. So.
Okay. Yeah. So all those seasons. The first season is a singer named Al B. Shore. It was only 4 episodes the first season. He was a narrator. Then I came in after that. Every episode, I learned something. But every episode also has this. Will Harris couldn't have been happier until he was sad. Every episode is like they were flying as high as they could possibly go. And then they came crashing down. Like it's always like, no, don't take the drugs. No, don't trust the manager. No, don't go near the boyfriend. It's always one of those, no, why are you doing this to yourself? It's an excellently produced show. It's won several NAACP Image Awards. It's a fantastic show. I'll record some this week from my trusted booth over here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that show. I one of my side gigs is writing posts for Rhino Records website. So there's been
really
more than a few clients.
No, when you say Rhino, you're talking about Republican in name only records, or the old record company that has that Rhino on the label? Okay, I didn't know which one you were doing.
Better safe than sorry.
Because I know a lot of Republicans are recording albums now.
I'm in Virginia. So you really never know with us.
You never know.
Yes, Rhino has educated me more than I can begin to tell you. I knew very little about the collected works of Zapp and Roger, but now,
oh my gosh,
I really didn't. It's been fascinating writing for them.
So, if anybody out there wants to see a good episode of Unsung, that Zapp and Roger episode, because there's some tragedy right there.
At least
they were brothers until they were enemies. Like so many tragedies. So much until they were.
Right before I got on here with you, I was watching your episode of Hanging with Dr. Z.
Oh my gosh.
Dana Gould is the best.
I met him. I met him through Janet Varney.
Oh, there you go.
Up at the old Sketch Fest. We just said hi, like that kind of meeting. And then a buddy of mine, Paul Greenberg's on there, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come?" No, it was Paul Greenberg's on there, but my buddy Denny Tedesco, he's like, "Hey, you want to come do this show?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." You never have to. If it's something fun, just call me and go, "Hey, Gary, Saturday, come over and do the thing." Don't ask me if it's fun. And I'm not going to ask you about money. I'm just going to come show up and do it. Yeah, that was super fun, man. And the way he shoots it, a little bit of Hollywood magic. Like you go to the studio, he's in one room because it looks like the old Space Ghost Coast to Coast where he's interviewing you on a monitor. Yeah. He is in one room. You're in a separate room, and then you're sitting in front of a camera in a whole nother room, literally listening through the earpieces. So it's very authentic feeling that like you're not there in that same location together, even though you're at the same studio.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was super fun.
I'm obliged to ask you about your Curb Your Enthusiasm experience.
Oh, dude. First of all, hi, Gary Anthony Williams. France, you can listen to this if you want. I am an improv nut, fool, love it. If you ask me, okay, what kind of acting would you rather do? every day for the rest of your life. It's going to be improv. Like, yes, thank you. Let me go in and not have a script. So I went in for the audition. I'd never auditioned for the show. And it was, they give you a little sheet of paper, a little strip, and it goes, in this scene, Larry David's going to try to get out of a speeding ticket. You're the judge. Don't let him. And that's all they give you. So you go in and audition with that. And he was there. Garland was there. And so it was like, oh, that was fun. Whether like at that, it's like, whether I got the job or not, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then, then I got the job, and like, you just literally go there, you shoot it, you improvise it. They go, let's do another take. Do whatever you want. Do it different. Or they'll go, hey, you remember the thing you said about the candy? Keep that in this take. Do everything else different. Like, it's truly just totally improvised. Like, nothing, not a bit of it is written. Like, if they find something they like and they know they're going to use it, then they'll say, hey, do another version of that or something.
Yeah.
But they keep all that going. So that was great. I mean, I would love to be, I don't know if Larry's listening right now. Hey, if you're listening,
probably,
I would love to take your place on this show. And I think that's how you have to do it in Hollywood. Let them know I'm coming after your job, and not in a mean way and not in a nice way, just in a way. I'm coming after your job, and Bryan Cranston punched a pregnant baby.
We've really come full circle here.
Yeah, because first of all, you can be nice and do bad things.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston is a very nice man.
Yeah.
He is a very generous man. Bryan Cranston literally, for real, helped one of my friends get their son back. Like, the wife had run away to a different country with a child when she shouldn't have. Bryan Cranston helped get that child back. That's the kind of human being Bryan Cranston is. That said, I believe with every fiber of my body, and I'm full of fiber, I'm a vegan. I believe with every fiber of my body and in my body that Bryan Cranston punched a pregnant baby. And if nobody's going to get to the bottom of this, I will. I know a guy who knows this attorney who's friends with someone else. I have a connection here, a web of people. Let's get this son of a gun before he acts again.
This is absolutely, I can see this being greenlit as a Peacock 8-part limited series following the trail of the pregnant baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's standing up for them? They can't stand up for themselves. They're babies.
That's
and they're
true.
pregnant. They're front heavy. That's the biggest problem. They're front heavy. A pregnant baby is a front heavy child. Whew. I'm sorry. Well,
No, I get it.
I don't remember the last time I was this pissed.
Also, front heavy is definitely going to be the title of it.
Front heavy. Yeah. Yeah, man. Front heavy. I wonder who we get to play Cranston in this. Will he play himself? Punching that baby, or
No, Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul?
Yeah.
Is Wilt Chamberlain still alive? Do you know? Does anyone know?
Isn't he? I think so.
If he's still alive, then I sure would love to have him play me, because I'm very tall. I'm very tall.
There is Kareem, though. Kareem is an option.
I'm sorry, did I ask for Kareem? Well, or did I ask for Wilt Chamberlain?
No,
okay. Do you?
I'm just saying, since we have not actually confirmed that Wilt Chamberlain is indeed
Ever since you pissed off Ving Rhames, America has looked at you in a very different way. Ving called me. He was like, Gary,
it's true.
Don't go on that show. Because he said, as Aristotle and Stanislavski once said, hey, everybody, I'm Aristotle. Hey, I'm Stanislavski. And that shit is true. And if we can't come together as a country and work on that, if we can't work on this, see that? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. If we can't work on, that's it. Yeah. Either way goes. If we can't work on that, what are we working on? Am I right?
And so saith Gary Sweetface Anthony Williams.
Sweetface. Hey, everybody, it's Gary Sweetface Anthony Williams. A lot of people ask, Gary, why do they call you Sweetface? Because you have milk chocolate on your face or you've been sucking on lollipops? No, my face got the sugar diabetes. Brought to you by the Sugar Diabetes Foundation. No, that's not true. My face doesn't have sugar diabetes. Just so everybody knows. I know everybody knows that. Well, he has localized diabetes, but it's only on his sweet face. It's not true. As a doctor, I could make up a lot of things.
We put footnotes on all these facts that are in my interviews.
Speaking of footnotes, do you have any of those shoes that you walk on and it plays little tunes? You have any of those? Because if I had you do, I was hoping.
They're not at arm's length, I'm afraid.
Okay, because if those exist, I would definitely call them footnotes. That would be a great name for. One time, my friend Tommy Fletch and I did get paid to name things. Like that was our job. We would name products. Yeah.
Nice work.
Footnotes.
Yeah, footnotes.
Now, I hate to brag on Tommy Fletch, but I just had to.
Well, now you've done it.
Now I've done it.
All right, Ben. This has been great. I really appreciate you being willing to do this.
Well, I think we probably had the most successful interviews of our lives.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
I've certainly tried to ask about the most obscure stuff, and that equals success in my experience.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if I have any obscurities in my life, but I certainly hope I gave you all the answers that a young man like you was looking for, and certainly that he deserves.
I certainly I got what I deserved.
You really got what you deserve today.
I have no idea how I'm going to edit this, but I look forward to trying.
Freaking Bryan Cranston. Let me tell you something. And first of all, do I consider him a friend? Yes, of course. Sure. Of course. If he called me today and needed something, would I help him out? Of course. He calls every day. He always needs something. He always needs help. Of course. He's Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
But that son of a gun. That son of a gun. America. And maybe Portugal. I understand you appreciate talent. I understand you appreciate men who appear to be strong, intelligent, kind. Bryan Cranston is all of those. He's also a PBP, a pregnant baby puncher. Do you invite him in your heart? Sure. Unless you have a pregnant baby trapped in one of your aortas or ventricles, then I suggest you don't. It's been a message from me, Gary Anthony Williams, against Bryan Cranston.
I'm not editing this at all. This is going to be completely unexpurgated. There is no point in trying.
Yeah. Don't try, man. No. You've tried enough in life.
Can I just say
let go, man.
And to think that I thought this day was not going to get any better after I bought this at a thrift store. But
well, somebody's watching you, and they got no privacy. Okay, this is the last thing I want to say to you, and I don't care if the camera's off. But what song was I singing this morning when I realized how all these songs that you forget are just stalker songs. Oh, it was I'm gonna knock on your door, tap on your window pane. But he says, until you come back to me, that's what I'm gonna do. That sounds
ominous.
First of all, shitty. Stop knocking on people's doors and tapping on the window pane until that's literally, hi everyone, Gary Anthony Williams here, Pisces. I live in the Valley now, but I'm originally from Fayetteville, Georgia. If you're dating anyone and you decide to go your separate ways, we all do. Nothing's forever except nothing. If they say they're going to get you back by constantly knocking on your door and tapping on your window pane, it's not good. That's the wrong person, unless you're deaf and blind and you can't hear that knocking and you can't see that tapping. then you go right ahead and get in a relationship with them. But if you have all your visuals and all your orals, auditory, sure, you can use that word. Then go ahead. Stay away from them. Also stay away from Bryan Cranston. He punches pregnant babies. Okay. I mean, all I want to do is help.
All you want to do is get Bryan Cranston arrested. Ultimately, I think that's what we're after.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. This has been great.
Success stories.
Excellent. Well, obviously, I'll see you around Facebook, and we're since we talk once every 11 to 12 years.
Okay, that's a good amount of time to speak to someone once every 11.
Makes the heart grow fonder, I found.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Hey, do me a favor. Yeah. Go out tonight, find a lady you love, get her pregnant. So the next time we talk, you can have your 12-year-old there with you.
I already have a 16-year-old, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, see what you can do. It's not hard to get out.
Should I check with my wife first, though?
It's on you, brother. You know your relationship better than I do.
I actually am going to check with her, probably.
Ask her if it's okay for you, and just for science, to go out and
really scientific.
Yeah.
Well, she does enjoy her science. So
just for math and science. Yeah. So do that. Yeah. Ask her if you want to ask her, whatever. If you want to be that kind of dude, talk to your wife, talk to your loved one.
Fine.
Get the okay with your loved one. Let's make sure the relationship goes good. Oof.
Your girlfriend's not listening anymore, is she?
No, I pray not. Because I really need her to stay in my life.
Dear God, please.
Dear God, please. Don't let her be listening right now.
All right, Gary. This has been great.
Right. Good to talk to you, brother.
Thanks so much, man. Have a good one.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.